Hope everybody's doing well. Had a great day, and we'll talk about DR today as we normally do. Um, let's talk about our range here. We had a kind of right on the money, like a 15, 16 point range, and one thing I want you to notice today, which hasn't happened in a while, is we actually had some pretty good gaps between DR and IDR, both on the high side and on the low side. So let's say we had 3 points on the top on the high side and like 5 points on the low side, and so a lot of gap room in there, which is not something we hadn't seen in a while. But as we look at our setup, at 10:30, prior to 10:30, I do want to point out, we had this move, we got our 10 o'clock move, right? Didn't happen at 10, but if you look at what happened at 10:05 to 10:10, we had this, move. Price was going up, and then at 10:05, it actually started coming back down again, and it set the DR low at that point. Now, one thing to notice is we had this huge gap back up into the IDR, and then continued on up. Over here, we had a fair value gap that was, kind of another confluence for us. So if you were paying attention to that, you could have seen that, okay, we're probably going to go back up here, right? So I know some people who actually took that trade and had a pretty good day. All right, that was pretty good amount of movement there. All right, but let's talk about DR itself. And here's what I'll say for me today is I could have stopped at two trades, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. But if you look, this was really it was basically a 40-point move today. If you just got in at the right time, let it play itself out. But let's talk about what I did today. All right, so here we finally confirmed DR high right about almost 11 o'clock, and then we retraced right away, which was great. Now here's something I did, which it was a little. I could have played it a little differently, but I actually made my stop loss 3 points. So what I did was I basically matched up the DR high with IDR high, and because when it came back down, I said let me put my order in like I normally do, right? That's my strategy. Put your order in, and then if price continues to go down, you move your order down. But what happened in this case was it actually moved back up and picked me up, and then dropped down, right? So which happens sometimes. I mean that's happened before, but it was a little skittish on this one, but I didn't have a 5 point stop loss, which would have put me down here somewhere. I actually had a 3 point, so I ended up getting stopped out right on that red candle. So again, order here, price was below, order was here, price moved up, grabbed me, and then dropped back down on that one candle. All right, so the next thing we saw, right? So okay, there were 3 points there. I'm okay with that. We had this doji candle, which I almost had put an order back on this IDR high this time, but I didn't. I said let me wait and see what happens, right? So after this movement here, I didn't want to jump in too early, and then this candle formed, and then we had this movement that dropped all the way down. It's below the 0.5 fib. And remember something about the 0.5 fib. The 0.5 fib is 0.5 between IDR high and IDR low, right? So it's not the full range. It's really just those two IDR areas. Okay, so 0.5 fib was here around 43.83, somewhere in there, and so price came down below that. Here's another fair value gap, bullish fair value gap. So price got picked up here, or price shot back up off of that one, picked me up on the IDR, on the 0.5 fib line, and went up. So in this case, I actually took the trade up to here, and I kept moving my stop up. So first it was 5 points, then it was 10, I moved to the 15, and then I ended up getting stopped out. I actually closed out the trade at about 13 points, because once I got here, it started to kind of come back down. I was like, yeah, let me just get out. That's the, it makes up for my 3 point loss over here, plus there's my 10 points, so I'm okay with 13 points here. Now again, because of this 3 point loss here, that turned me into that turned me into a scalper for the rest of the day, which I did not have to do. I could just let this trade just keep going, right? And that's where I say from about 43.84 all the way up here, you know, to 44.24. So again, an easy 40-point day if I would have just left it alone. But I ended up scalping. So my only DR trade I took was this one, right? So from here for 13 points. And then I actually came back here. I took some more trades here. You notice there's another fair value gap. Strictly ICT here, because now we're not coming back down to test the DR anymore. DR is done for the day, basically. But then here's a really nice entry back into a fair value gap. So I got in on top of that fair value gap, put my order right here, let that play out. I think that was about 10 points or so. And this I could have, again, could have done a lot more, but I was okay with that because, it was still a very positive day. But again, this is kind of the second time this has happened to me where, I probably need to have a little more patience. But, once this happened to me and I lost those 3 points, I was like, okay, let me be a little more cautious. And so as soon as I would see price go against me, I would literally just jump out of the trade. So, again, all in all, not a bad day. But again, it could have been a lot better if I would have just, again, had a little more patience than what I normally have. But that's it. So 1 DR trade today, actually 2 DR trades today. One, again, for me would have been a loss, or was a loss because I didn't use my normal stop loss, my normal 5 points, which I actually would have gotten stopped out anyway on this candle. So nothing to worry about there. But then come back down and, again, following the rules, right? Sticking with your process and saying, okay, well, now I'm below this 0.5 fib. Let me jump in that one and take that back up. All right. And so after that, it was just smooth sailing. So, really, really bullish day today. So hope everybody got a chance to take advantage of just a nice trending day and able to make some profits off of it. That's it. So, as we've been saying, love on your family. You never know when you won't have them anymore. So, give them kisses and hugs and all that good stuff. All right. God bless, and we'll talk to you later.